Hello, welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper, and today is our follow-up video of the making of the big nuts. And many of you had made some great comments, some great jokes about my big nuts. And I have really appreciated that. That was pretty funny. But I have a little list here of comments that were made and questions asked, and I want to address those as I do in my follow-up videos. So if you're new to the channel, this is something I do every Wednesday. I'll address questions and comments. If there's somebody that's really stupid and they make, just nasty, we'll point that out as well. But so to go on to the questions and the comments that were made, somebody had asked about, do I make spares? So do I plan for extra parts while I'm making stuff? And the answer to that is no, especially on a job like that. A job like that, each piece of material was about $80. So I had 8 of them to make. I'm not going to make an extra one or buy material for an extra one unless I absolutely need it. So if I screw one up, I'll just order another piece of material, but generally I don't screw them up. I've been very, very fortunate. I take my time, I pay attention to what I'm doing, and so screwing up a part is just not something I want to do. My scrap rate here in the shop is less than 1%. So I'm very proud of that. I've worked very hard to keep it that way. I hate scrapping parts. I know everybody does. So no, I do not order extra material and make extras just in case I mess up. So like I said, you can just order material later. And somebody had commented on why I spent so much time indicating that nut in on the chuck. Why not just run the center into it, the dead center or a live center into it, and just tighten the jaws around it. And he said something about it being close enough at 10 thousandths, or so run out. That's not close enough for me. If I'm doing a job, I'm doing it right. So I wanted it perfect, and that's what I aim for. So getting that, even the 10 thousandths off on that center drill hole, could cause some problems with our drill. Could cause the drill to wobble and drill offset, so you don't want that. So that's why I spend the extra time and indicate, which really isn't a lot of time. Somebody asked about, a few of you asked about making the hex nuts as well. Generally, no. Hex nuts are something you can buy off the shelf. By the time I buy material and do the work to make the hex nuts, it's not worth it. You can buy them cheaper. Now, if it's a custom hex nut, and I do have some of those that I've made over the years, those I do make. But for a standard hex nut, no. We'll just buy those off the shelf, or the customer buys them. They're just not worth making. There was a good question, a couple of them, of why I set up in the Cincinnati and did the facing in there and the squaring of the blocks in there instead of chucking up the block in the forejaw and facing it there. Speed. Speed is the answer to that one. The Cincinnati is so fast. You get your chuck all dialed in, or you have a vise, get everything square, clamp it in there, you face it off, it's square, it's true, it's perfect. Whereas you get it in the forejaw, and if you got it off just a little bit, cocked in there, it won't be square. So doing it in the Cincinnati was obviously the right choice. A few of you asked what I do with the metal chips. The metal chips go to recycling. I take them to the local scrapyard. They buy them from me. So I don't get a lot of money for them, but it covers my fuel to run up there. I'll load up 5, 6, 7,000 pounds at a time and put them on the big truck, take them up there to the scrapyard in Hayward. Roy's in Hayward is the one I deal with. They're the best one in the area. Way better than that other one in Hayward. So if you're local and you're dealing with the scrapyard, look at Roy's. They're really good to work with. And there were several comments about chamfering and crowning of the square nut. Why didn't I do that stuff? These nuts fit into a pocket, and the customer just asked me that I break the sharp edges, take all the burrs off, but don't crown it, don't chamfer it, don't nothing. Just make them a square nut, they fit into a pocket, and then another nut gets jammed against it. So it's actually a locking setup, turning this into basically a big bolt. So that's why we didn't do that. And so I guess that's all the questions. There were some really great ones, some great comments, a lot of funny comments about my nuts. One of them was, asked if I hung a couple of big nuts under my big Johnson for a photo shoot. I hadn't even thought of that. I wish I had. That would have been pretty funny. But it was a fun job. I enjoyed doing it. And it's out the door. The customer has it. They're in service and they're happy with it. It went with those big studs we did a few weeks back. As far as videos coming up, we have a sawmill video coming up Saturday. It is a good sawmill video. We did a lot of sawing. It was the first time we ran the mill in 2 years. We didn't run it all last year in 2024. So we just fired up and we are starting to saw for building the sawmill shed. So we're sawing up all the boards we need for that. And pretty soon we're gonna need some more 20-foot boards because we decided to change the design of the sawmill shed, and we are going 4 foot on center with our rafters because we're doing a wood shingle roof. I bought a shingle mill off my friend Mike after he passed. I bought it from his widow. So we're gonna saw wooden shingles. We may not get that all done this year. I don't know what we're gonna get done this year, but we're gonna definitely try to get the building up and the roof over and get the tar paper on. Might not get the shingles done, but that's where we're at there. So check out Saturday's video. That sawmill, we built it entirely in the shop here. It's been an amazing piece of equipment. Runs so beautiful. But in that video, we had a little mishap towards the end, and we found some fence staples in a tree. Never expected that. They were taken far enough from buildings. We didn't expect it. We didn't know there was really a tree line there or a fence line there. But we found 3 staples about 1 foot apart right in the middle of the tree, and it was a good sized tree. So check out that video. I think you'll enjoy it. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.